Chosen one, today is not an ordinary sunrise. September 4th carries a current of energy that whispers only to those awake enough to hear. Some days pass like shadows unnoticed. Others arrive like a call to arms, stirring the spirit. This is one of those days. In the Shaolin tradition, when the temple bell echoes across the mountains, every disciple must rise without hesitation. That bell is not just sound, it is life-demanding presence. And today, that bell rings for you. Across centuries, masters spoke of days where the flow of time feels different, sharper, heavier with meaning. These are days that test the strength of your discipline, your patience, and your heart. To meet such a day unprepared is to let it pass like dust through the hands. But to meet it with awareness is to turn ordinary hours into steps toward mastery. In this video, I will guide you through 10 timeless principles hidden in plain sight. We will explore the Shaolin view of breath as a weapon against fear, silence as a greater force than words, balance as the secret to unshakable power, and service as the highest form of strength. These are not common teachings. These are lessons reserved for those ready to see beyond the surface of life. Stay with me until the end, because each principle builds on the next. Together, they form a circle, a path that begins this morning and returns tonight in reflection. If you miss a step, the path remains broken. But if you walk it fully, this day will change the way you live every day after it. Welcome, chosen ones, to Shaolin Soulfire. I am Shi Heng Yi. If you seek clarity, strength, and mastery, subscribe now and step onto the path with us. The way you begin the morning decides the weight of your entire day. When the first light touches the temple walls, the Shaolin monk does not rise with haste, nor with laziness. He rises with awareness. The silence of dawn is his first teacher. Before words, before tasks, before the world makes its demands, he listens to his own breath. Discipline in the morning is not about rigid control. It is about respect. Respect for the gift of life renewed. Respect for the body that carries the spirit. Respect for the mind that must remain clear. A monk bows to the rising sun, not because the sun needs worship, but because the act reminds him, this day is sacred. In the old days, before training, disciples would sweep the temple floors at dawn. It was never just about cleaning. It was about learning to prepare the ground, within and without. To sweep the dust from the stones is to sweep the restlessness from the heart. Only then can true practice begin. You, chosen one, must see the same truth. If you rush through your morning, you carry chaos into every step that follows. But if you breathe, move slowly, and honor the start, then even the smallest action becomes purposeful. Eating, walking, preparing. All of these become a form of meditation. When you treat the morning as sacred, you shape your destiny before the world even wakes. This is why the monk begins with silence, why the disciple bows, why the breath comes first. The morning is not casual. It is the root of mastery, and when the root is strong, the tree stands unshaken through every storm. There is a wisdom hidden in the simplest act of living, the breath. It enters and leaves without our command, yet it shapes every thought, every movement, every feeling. The Shaolin masters say, when you control the breath, you command the mind. When you command the mind, you master your life. In the temples, training did not begin with fists or weapons. It began with breathing. A disciple was taught to stand still, feet rooted like trees, eyes soft, and simply follow the tide of air moving in and out. At first, the mind rebels. It wants movement, distraction, noise. But with patience, the breath becomes like a quiet stream, calming the fire of restless thoughts. Each inhale draws in more than air. It gathers courage, strength, and clarity. Each exhale is more than release. It is the letting go of fear, tension, and doubt. When practiced with discipline, this rhythm turns the body into a vessel of balance and the spirit into a flame that does not waver. There are old stories of monks who endured harsh winters or long fasts by mastering breath alone. They called it the hidden teacher, for it reveals its lessons only to those willing to listen deeply. To the untrained, it is invisible. To the awakened, it is the bridge between body and spirit. Today, notice your own breathing. Do not rush it. Let it deepen, let it slow, let it carry you into presence. The world outside may move with haste, but within, you can walk the ancient path of stillness. Breath is not mere survival, it is the unseen thread that holds life together, and the first step toward true inner mastery. There is a force in quiet that the loudest voices cannot touch. In the halls of the Shaolin Temple, monks often sit together for hours without a word, yet the room hums with presence. Silence is not emptiness, it is full of awareness, full of listening, full of understanding. True strength does not demand attention through speech. It waits patiently, measured, like the mountain observing the clouds. Words spoken too freely scatter energy, while words chosen with care carry weight beyond measure. The master teaches that the one who speaks less often, but with purpose, shapes reality more than the one who shouts constantly. Today, allow moments of silence to enter your day. Step away from the noise that pulls at thought and emotion. Pause between actions. Let the spaces between words breathe. In these quiet pockets, the mind unclutters itself. Patterns become visible, intentions become clear, and decisions emerge with subtle clarity. In silence, wisdom rises like water settling after a storm. At first, the mind churns, restless and agitated. But if patience holds, the turbulence slows, the surface smooths, and the depths become clear. Here, insights emerge that could never be forced or spoken into existence. Silence is discipline. It is not simply the absence of sound, but the mastery of presence. It trains the mind to observe before reacting, to understand before speaking, to feel before moving. Each deliberate pause strengthens the inner core, cultivating a steadiness that cannot be shaken by chaos outside. By embracing silence today, even in small moments, the energy of the day aligns with clarity. The unspoken becomes more powerful than the spoken. The quiet reveals what the world rarely teaches. That true mastery begins in stillness, and strength is carried not in noise, but in the calm within. There is a path that does not veer to the left or the right, a path the Shaolin call the middle way. It is a quiet discipline, often unnoticed, yet it carries the deepest strength. Too much indulgence clouds the mind and weakens the body. Too much denial starves the spirit and hardens the heart. Balance is the bridge between these extremes, steady and unshakable. In the monastery, meals were simple, measured, and mindful. A monk did not overeat to satisfy desire, nor did he starve himself to prove willpower. Each bite nourished the body without fueling attachment. In the same way, thoughts must be tempered. Dwelling excessively on fear or desire pulls energy from the present. Emotion unchecked can sweep the mind like a violent storm. Balance does not suppress feeling, it channels it with awareness. Walking the middle way requires constant attention. It is not easy, for the world often tempts with excess and scarcity alike. Yet those who learn to move between extremes carry a power few can touch. Energy preserved in moderation flows where it is needed most, in decision, in action, in presence. Even in training, the Shaolin know this lesson. Force applied without measure breaks the body. Force restrained too much accomplishes nothing. The true master finds the point between where movement is effortless, precise, and aligned with purpose. Today, the chosen one must observe this principle in every act. What is eaten, what is thought, what is felt, all carry weight. Moderation is not weakness, it is intelligence. Extremes are fleeting, balance endures. In this harmony, energy is not wasted, it is stored, sharpened, and ready to guide each step, each breath, each choice along the path of mastery. The fiercest battle is rarely fought with fists or weapons, it begins quietly in the mind and heart, where unseen enemies lie in wait. On September 4th, the greatest challenge is not outside, it is within. Laziness whispers in idle moments, anger flares in the smallest irritation. Doubt creeps in when courage is needed most. These are the foes the Shaolin call the inner enemy. In the temples, young disciples trained for years to face themselves before facing any other. A strike of the hand or foot is simple compared to the discipline required to face one's own fear or desire. Meditation, breath, and stillness become the tools of battle. Each act of self-awareness weakens the hidden enemy. Each moment of patience strengthens the inner core. Shaolin wisdom teaches, the strongest opponent is your untrained mind. The mind left unchecked sways with every distraction, every fear, every craving. It can turn small trials into mountains and simple choices into chaos. Yet when trained with discipline, it becomes a guide, a shield, and a weapon more powerful than any outside force. Today, the chosen one must observe thoughts and emotions like a sentinel. Notice the pull of impatience, the rise of anger, the tug of doubt. Do not suppress them, but name them, understand them, and let them pass. Each encounter with the inner enemy is a victory, a quiet conquest that shapes the spirit more than any external triumph ever could. The journey is subtle but profound. To master the world, one must first master oneself. On this day, turn inward with courage, for the battle within determines the path forward. Strength is built not in avoiding the inner enemy, but in meeting it with awareness, patience, and unyielding discipline. There is a paradox at the heart of Shaolin practice. Movement and stillness are not opposites, but partners. A monk may strike with speed, yet within the mind remains calm. Every gesture, every step carries intention. This is stillness in motion, the mastery of being fully present while fully engaged. Even the simplest acts, when performed with awareness, become sacred. Eating is not rushed. Each bite is tasted, each swallow felt. Walking is not hurried. Each step presses into the earth with balance and intention. Working is not done in distraction. Each motion is deliberate, each decision conscious. In this way, life itself becomes a form of meditation. The body and mind are not separate. When the heart is calm, movement becomes precise. When the mind is focused, action flows without strain. Shaolin teachings call this harmony the true path of strength. A hurried hand or restless thought scatters energy. A centered presence, however, channels it, allowing even ordinary moments to hold extraordinary power. On this day, the chosen one can practice the same principle. Notice the flow of your own actions. Let each task, no matter how small, be performed with attention. Let stillness dwell at your core while your hands and feet carry out their work. In this quiet mastery, even mundane acts transform into rituals and ordinary hours into steps toward enlightenment. This is the lesson of stillness in motion, that presence is not paused only for meditation, and that life itself can be a training ground. When action and awareness move together, the spirit becomes unshakable and the world unfolds without distraction. Every moment is a chance to turn the everyday into mastery, to let the mind remain rooted even as the body moves, and to find power not in haste, but in mindful flow. There is a subtle truth the Shaolin have passed down for centuries. Strength gains meaning only when it reaches beyond the self. A fist that strikes for pride is heavy but hollow. A mind that seeks only advantage is sharp but empty. True mastery is revealed not in what we take, but in what we give. In the quiet courtyards of the temple, monks spent hours tending the gardens, carrying water, or teaching younger disciples. There is no applause, no reward. Each act is performed with calm attention, a service offered freely. Yet this service is not weakness. It is the exercise of strength refined by humility. The body becomes resilient, the mind disciplined, and the spirit unshakable. On this day, the chosen one is called to follow the same principle. Offer help where it is needed, without expectation of recognition or return. Listen deeply to the needs around you. Move with intention, whether it is a small gesture of kindness or a quiet word that eases another's burden. Each act of service trains the mind to be patient, the heart to be steady, and the spirit to be expansive. Shaolin teachings remind us that power alone can isolate, but power in service connects. When strength is directed outward, it transforms both giver and receiver. It becomes a quiet force that nurtures balance and harmony, a current flowing silently through every action. By serving without attachment, the chosen one cultivates mastery that cannot be measured in victory or fame. It is measured in the calm steadiness of the heart, the clarity of the mind, and the enduring presence of spirit. Strength used for others becomes a vessel of wisdom, a bridge to deeper understanding, and a reflection of the highest form of discipline. Today, let action and compassion move together and discover how service shapes the true path of mastery. There is a freedom the Shaolin speak of, one that is rarely understood by those who chase results. The mind clings to outcomes, seeking reward or fearing failure, and in this clinging, the spirit grows restless. Attachment binds energy, clouds judgment, and steals presence. True mastery lies not in grasping, but in letting go. A disciple may train for years, yet the goal is never merely to succeed. Each movement, each strike, each breath is practiced fully, without obsession over the result. The body acts, the mind focuses, the heart engages, but the outcome is released. In this release, a clarity arises. Action becomes unburdened, precise, and flowing. On this day, the chosen one is called to embody the same principle. Perform every task, every interaction, every decision with full attention and intention. Engage completely, but do not clutch at what follows. The world may respond in ways unforeseen, yet the mind remains steady, the spirit calm. Victory is found not in changing the world, but in mastering one's own response to it. There is an ancient story of a monk who tended the temple gardens for decades. He planted without expectation of harvest, cleaned without thought of reward, and taught without concern for praise. In his detachment, he discovered power. Each action was perfected simply because it was free from the weight of desire. The fruit of his labor came naturally, as a reflection of discipline, patience, and presence. Detachment from outcome does not mean indifference. It means awareness. It means acting with courage, skill, and compassion, while understanding that the world unfolds according to its own rhythm. The chosen one moves with full heart and calm mind, finding strength in the discipline of acceptance. In this way, mastery is not measured by what is gained, but by the freedom within, unshaken by success or failure alike. As the sun dips below the horizon, the day quietly folds back into itself. Every moment that began with breath and awareness now returns to the same rhythm, a circle completed. In Shaolin practice, the close of day is as important as its beginning. The disciple sits, observes, and listens, honoring the passage of hours with calm presence. Tonight, reflect on how the day was walked. Where was the mind scattered? And where did it hold steady? Where did impatience arise? And where did discipline guide each choice? Reflection is not judgment, but recognition, a mirror held to the spirit. In this gentle review, lessons emerge that the noise of daytime often conceals. Gratitude becomes the seal of wisdom. The smallest awareness, the quietest act, carries significance when recognized. To feel gratitude is to acknowledge the flow of energy, the guidance of breath, the lessons embedded in every challenge and triumph. This recognition transforms ordinary time into sacred practice, turning September 4th from a mere date on the calendar into a step along the path of mastery. The circle of return teaches that life moves in cycles. The morning's discipline, the stillness in motion, the mastery of breath, the service offered, the detachment from outcome, all return in reflection, strengthened by awareness. The day ends, yet the work continues within. Each night closes an arc, preparing the spirit to rise again with clarity, strength, and intention. As darkness settles, allow yourself to rest in stillness. Let gratitude and reflection merge, letting the lessons of today sink deeply into the heart. The chosen one recognizes that mastery is not a distant goal, but a continuous rhythm, returning with each breath, each pause, each quiet moment of presence. In this circle, the day is complete, and the spirit grows quietly, steadily, unshakable in its unfolding. As September 4th comes to a close, remember that the path of mastery is woven from small, deliberate actions. Each breath taken with awareness, each moment of stillness, each act of service, and each choice to let go of attachment strengthens the spirit quietly but profoundly. Greatness does not arrive in sudden bursts. It grows steadily, like a tree rooted deep in patience and discipline. Let today be a reminder that every day holds the opportunity to practice, to observe, and to refine yourself. Carry the lessons of discipline, breath, silence, balance, stillness, service, and detachment into tomorrow. Let them guide your steps, calm your mind, and center your heart. The path to mastery is not distant, it begins here, in the present, in each mindful moment. Walk gently with yourself. Honor the lessons of today and allow them to shape the choices of every day that follows. Peace grows in the practice of presence, and strength is revealed in the quiet consistency of your actions. If this journey resonates with you, join us on the path. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and return to the teachings that cultivate wisdom, discipline, and calm power in your life. May the stillness of this day remain with you, and may your spirit continue to grow quietly and steadily with each sunrise that comes.